Culinary Institutes was part of that exploratory process. We did a networking process. We started off talking to Culinary Institute of America. They have a consultancy there. They work on menu development, product development, and we started to scout out how Culinary Institutes could help us, and our original plan was to go with Culinary Institute of America. However, we have a New York Wine and Culinary Center right here in Canandaigua in our own backyard. They have some really top people that work there, some really sharp chefs, and they have the same functionality. They can do the same thing. So right now, we're working with them on sensory analysis of our current products, and then protocep and prototype development on new products. And our board likes that idea. We need to develop an innovation culture. We don't have that core competency within the business, and so we've developed an outsourced relationship, but it's so far working. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That would be really a new, fresh bread is, or frozen to fresh is what we do. Going to market with dough would be a whole new business, really. So it would have to be treated like that. It's really not on the table to do dough. However, in-store bakery supplying, being, us putting our bread in a package for some in-store is a possibility. Mm-hmm. We're really looking at the knee knocker placement in the delis for Monk's bread out of the commercial aisle, anyways. So so dough isn't it, but deli is. Okay. It's back on the table. We looked at Canada first, and we've worked with a company up there, and they are still in the feasibility study stage. They've got some pans, tested they can make the bread, but they're wanting to see, they have a lot to work on their end to see if they can make it happen. So at the same time, we're also looking at doing distribution of our own product. We're not far from the border, and we're looking at doing it ourselves. So we may take that off the table depending on, Canada's a more focused grocery business. There's not as many chains, it's not as diverse. So it wouldn't take much to develop a relationship with one major store in southern Ontario, and we could be opening up our market quite a bit. So franchising in America is on the table. That is a possibility, but it's in a secondary phase of growth. We want to explore doing our own baking and our own distribution first, followed by then in further markets out, we can possibly franchise again. Franchising is a 3% in this industry, is a 3% business. So, our bakery is, the private industry average for a net profit in baking and in bread is 10% is a good number. All right. We're running at 17% right now, which some people in closed talks have heard that number and said, we'll buy you for 17%. So we have a great model, and that's now with employees on board. There's not much more labor costs to be factored into our break-even in order to cover what we're doing. And so we have a really great business model, and we're very profitable. So we're looking at trying to keep that versus franchising, because obviously 17% versus 3%, we'd much rather make our own. 80% of all the bread in the bread aisle in your grocery store now is delivered with that model. It's not fresh. And because it is coming in from bakeries in Connecticut, in Western New York, for example, where we are, a lot of the bread comes in from Connecticut and the East Coast, or Akron, Ohio, where Schwabel's is, and so it's not brought in fresh. It's brought in frozen and then put on the shelves. Nobody knows that. It's an industry. Ours isn't, but we're not averse to that because it is it's an acceptable industry practice. So yes, we are open to freezing. However, Bert, that you interviewed, his model is flash freezing. It doesn't necessarily have to be flash in the bread business. Slow freezing is fine. I don't think it really improves the quality of the freeze or the product in any way. So, and yeah, Bert is, that model is viable, and as we're going forward, we're looking at diversifying our distribution so that we don't only have one customer, and which is Bimbo at this particular time. So yeah, we're definitely interested in going in that route.
Okay.
Not really. Usually the truck is your thaw room.
Yeah.
More and more you have, for example, you'll have distributors that the front half of their truck is frozen, the back half of their truck is not. They can move that back and forth. They can, you know, they do, you know, for example, Utz is a snack that's distributed. And they're saying the people that distribute their snacks also do bread. So there's a lot of different ways to make that happen. I don't see that as a barrier, personally. Those are just logistics that have to be worked out that are pretty common to do. It only takes about 24 hours to unthaw that bread. So on the way from the depot to the store, it's usually done. More in the specialty bakery realm. We do think that malls are a great opportunity to sell specialty products. You bring all of your buyers into one location, better than a strip mall or a local location. You have a regional exposure, and that the demographic that's going to pay more for specialty baked goods is walking through a mall. So that is still on the table for feasibility. We've really done the feasibility. The model can work, but we have to test it. We have not tested it. So we're going to do some limited testing, possibly by partnering up with someone that already has a kiosk in a mall that's doing coffee, and start having them sell our products, see how they do, then we can move into our own kiosk. So. We can do that. It won't violate any distribution contracts to give people samples. It's a pull marketing strategy to pull them into the store. Yeah. Traditionally in grocery store, what you get is a lot of push marketing. You get a lot of couponing, FSIs. You get a lot of they're in the store, we're pushing this product on you, and we've done guerrilla marketing, breakthrough marketing, things that big companies can't do. You know, really, you know, outside the box strategies. You're not going to see Bimbo or Pepperidge Farms at a local festival. Well, we're there talking to people, giving them our bread, and I do think that a kiosk could have that function as well.
Okay.
It does. For us, of course. For Wegmans, they have to be sold. Is the brand transferable into new geographies? So what we have done is we started off with, it was just sort of by accident actually, I went to our online sales and said, here's zip codes where there's Wegmans stores. How many orders do we have from those zip codes? Well, it was significant, and we brought that data to Wegmans and got their attention. Now we're doing focused digital marketing in those areas to really produce and lay the groundwork and make the case. So yeah, we're in half of the Wegmans stores right now. If we got in all the Wegmans stores and grew with them in their chain and became a Wegmans anchor brand, if you will, I think that that would bring us quite a bit forward in our goal. I don't know if it's significant. There's a lot, you know, when we bring monks over, there's the issues of visas and immigration, and there's quite a cost to do that. The African monasteries can't bear any of that cost, so we pay for all of that. So, you know, you would be paying, there's a price to be paid to do that. It's going to help. We've already been able to shrink our headcount on the employee side and fill in the African monks, and we've reduced our payroll and driven our margins that way. That helps, but it's not going to be it's not the answer.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of a solution. It's a piece in the puzzle. But yeah, it's not a permanent solution. But that is a trend, even in the Catholic Church at large. Having parish priests, they're bringing them in from overseas, from South America, from Asia, from Africa, more. So I think we'll see more of that. I don't think this is the end of it.